Today I made bread from scratch. Sort of.
Okay, but this is a vibe coding and AI-assisted development channel. Why is a software developer telling you about dough? I'm not a baker. I'm not much of a cook of any note. But if I put these on a plate in front of you, you'd probably call them bread rolls. Some are crunchier, some are doughier than I'd like, but they are by and large acceptable bread rolls. Now, would it change things if I said I used one of these to make the rolls? They give you the yeast, a dry mix, you add water, you follow an instruction or two, and hey presto, bread rolls. I asked because I was mid-need of this very dough when I stopped and asked, how different is this from vibe coding, really?
Here I am. No pedigree, no business doing this. And yet, yeah, might make bread. Why not? Would I call myself a baker? Well, no, but did I make something a bit more than passable? I'd like to think so, although I guess that's really up to my dinner guests, isn't it? If I host a dinner party and my guests rave about the bread and I don't tell them it was a packet mix, am I a fraud? Some would say yes. I'm taking credit for the work of food scientists who engineered the perfect ratio of yeast to flour to guarantee a rise under almost any domestic condition. I'm just the executor of their algorithm. But on the other hand, my guests are fed, they're happy. The value delivered to them is 100% real. The carbohydrate intake is biochemically identical to the loaf that took an artisanal baker 36 hours to cultivate. At what point do we get to claim the title? How much of our own blood, sweat and tears has to go in first? These rolls are thankfully free of all three, but I'd still claim them. And honestly, I probably wouldn't mention the packet mix to my guests. Is that being untruthful? Am I lying? Here's where it gets even more uncomfortable though, because I don't think lying is even the real question. Craft used to come with real friction, time, failed batches, a long, silently humiliating stretch where everyone around you knew you weren't good yet. And that friction wasn't just in the way, it was how your identity as a maker actually got built. You earned the title by surviving the bad versions. AI removes the friction. You can go from, I have no idea what I'm doing, to look what I made in an afternoon. And the packet does the same thing in a kitchen. Somebody else already engineered the exact ratio of yeast to flour so the thing rises in almost any oven. So I'll be honest about where I stand. I lean on the fact that I've got a formal education in software development. In my day-to-day, I review everything I can. I break the code, the AI hands me. I force it into the loop, the edge cases, and I genuinely feel like I'm as much a part of the process as I can be. But the uncomfortable reality is this. I'm standing on top of AI in exactly the same way I'm standing on top of this packet mix. Does that make me a bad developer? I want to say no, but I notice how convenient my defense is. The one that goes, better tools have always been part of a craft, a photographer isn't a fraud for using a better camera, a writer isn't lesser for using the word processor. It's a comforting story. It might even be true, but it's also exactly what someone standing on top of the packet mix would say, so I don't fully trust it. There's a difference between using the packet and only knowing how to use the packet. What happens when the dough doesn't rise, when my oven runs hot or the humidity kills the yeast? With zero fundamental knowledge, I'm powerless. I've been it, and my guests are hungry. The danger of this era isn't packet mixers, it's that we might raise a whole generation of makers who only ever learn to add water and have no idea what to do when the recipe breaks. When AI hands me code that looks beautiful, but leaks memory or has gaping security holes, I don't bin it, I pull it apart. Not because I'm pedantic, though I certainly can be. It's because I just happen to know, at least a little bit, about how the flour was milled.
So let me try and land this somewhere honest rather than somewhere flattering. Maybe the question was never, did I make this? Maybe the real question was, would I be proud of these roles if everyone at the dinner table knew exactly how little of me went into them?
Because that's the question I really sit with as a developer. Not, am I lying to my guests, but if every choice, shortcut, prompt, patch, and half-understood fix were visible for everyone to see beside my finished app, could I still put my name on it? I don't have a clean answer for you, and frankly, I'm a little suspicious of anyone who does. And finally, there's a layer underneath all of this that every single AI-assisted developer, including myself, are turning a bit of a blind eye to at the moment. When you say I made this, it isn't just an emotional claim, it's a legal and a professional one. So, where did the AI's training data actually come from? Who owns the code it hands me and under what license? When I ship something commercially, whose work am I really standing on? And did they ever agree to it? The packet mix, at least, I bought fair and square. The provenance of the mix in software is murkier. I'm not going to resolve that one for you here in this video. Not a developer, not a lawyer. And the licensing picture is genuinely unsettled. But I think raising the question matters because it changes the shape of the whole conversation. It's no longer just, do I feel like the creator? It's, what am I actually standing on? And was it ever freely given?
So I'm going to claim these roles for today, and I'm going to keep using AI coding agents tomorrow.
And I'm going to do both with a slightly uneasy honesty about what's mine and what isn't.
But what about you? When you ship something with AI, do you acknowledge it? Do you feel like the creator? Is it unreasonable to even expect engineers to still know every single line of code in the world of AI coding? Does it even matter if the app builds and the client is happy? Sound off in the comments and let's keep building.